You talk to yourself, maybe out loud, maybe just under your breath, and some part of you has always quietly worried that means something's wrong with you. Psychology suggests something very different. In many cases, talking to yourself has very little to do with confusion and a great deal to do with clarity. Psychologist Lev Vygotsky, whose work transformed our understanding of human development, described this as private speech. He believed that talking to yourself is not a sign of immaturity or instability. It's one of the mind's most powerful tools for organizing thoughts, solving problems, and regulating emotions. What looks strange from the outside may actually reveal something remarkable about the way a person's mind works. Here are 7 rare traits that often appear in people who talk to themselves. Trait 1. They turn confusion into clarity. Picture the moment right before a hard decision. 2 job offers, a conversation you can't stop replaying, a relationship you're not sure about anymore. The thoughts don't arrive one at a time, they arrive all at once, tangled, competing. Then, almost without deciding to, you say it out loud. Okay, let's think about this. And something shifts. Not the situation hasn't changed at all. What changed is how your brain is handling it. That's the mechanic behind private speech. The instant a thought leaves your head and becomes a sound, it stops being a fog you're lost inside and becomes something sitting in front of you, something you can actually look at. Instead of juggling 10 ideas at once, your brain starts placing them down one at a time. People who talk to themselves usually aren't doing it because they're confused, they're doing it because talking is how they get unconfused. Trait 2. They solve problems faster. And there's a reason. It's not just a feeling. A 2012 study published in the Quarterly Journal of Experimental Psychology found that people who talked to themselves while searching for an object found it significantly faster than people who searched in silence. Not a little faster, measurably faster. Saying the object's name out loud sharpened visual attention enough to change the outcome of the search. So when you're digging through a junk drawer muttering, "Keys, keys, where are the keys?" that's not a quirky habit. That's your brain running a more efficient search algorithm than the people around you. Start here. Check this first. Don't rush. That's not panic talking. That's self-guidance. Attention being directed instead of left to wander. And it's why people who talk to themselves often look strangely calm in the middle of chaos. They're not reacting. They're narrating the next step before they take it. Trait 3. They regulate emotion before emotion regulates them. This is the one people misread the most. You just had a bad conversation. You're embarrassed, maybe angry. Most people carry that silently, replaying it until the feeling gets louder than the memory ever was. People who talk to themselves interrupt that loop. Take a minute. Don't react yet. What actually happened? Cross's research has a name for this: self-distancing. And it isn't just a comforting idea. Brain imaging studies show that when people talk to themselves from a distanced perspective, activity drops in the neural regions tied to emotional reactivity. You're not suppressing the feeling, you're stepping half a foot back from it, and that half a foot changes what the feeling is allowed to do to you. Trait 4. They interrogate their own thinking, which is exactly where it gets a little uncomfortable. Here's the part most people get wrong about this whole topic. Talking to yourself doesn't mean agreeing with yourself. Am I missing something? Is there another explanation? Why did that actually bother me? That's not comfort, that's cross-examination. And to be fair, this is also where self-talk can tip into something less healthy. Rumination, replaying the same painful loop with no new questions, no movement, just repetition, technically looks like self-talk too. The difference isn't whether you're talking to yourself, it's whether the conversation is going anywhere. People who talk to themselves in a healthy way ask, then move. People stuck in rumination ask the same question on a loop and never let themselves answer it. If you notice the second one in yourself, that's worth paying attention to, and it's a good reason to talk to someone else, not just yourself. For most people doing it in the first, healthier way, though, this constant interrogation is exactly why they keep growing, while people who never question themselves quietly stop. Trait 5. They rehearse conversations life hasn't asked for yet. You've probably done this without even noticing. You're in the shower, driving home, walking through the grocery store, and suddenly you're having a conversation with someone who isn't there. You're explaining something, defending yourself, practicing what you're going to say. From the outside, it might look strange, but your brain isn't confusing imagination with reality. It's preparing for reality. People who talk to themselves often use these quiet rehearsals to organize difficult conversations before they happen. That doesn't make them fake, it makes them prepared. Sometimes the safest place to find your voice is where nobody else can hear it. Trait 6. They stay connected to themselves when everything becomes loud. Modern life is filled with voices. Friends, family, social media, news, opinions from people who barely know you. After enough of it, something strange begins to happen. You stop asking, "What do I think?" and start asking, "What does everyone else expecting me to think?" People who talk to themselves often interrupt that process. When they're alone, they ask questions that nobody else is asking. Do I actually want this? Am I doing this because it matters to me or because I don't want to disappoint someone? Is this my opinion or one I borrowed without realizing it? Those moments of private conversation become moments of private honesty. Instead of letting the loudest voice in the room shape their decisions, they return to the one voice they trust most, their own. In a world that constantly tells you who to become, talking to yourself can be a quiet way of remembering who you already are. Trait 7. They never stop studying themselves. This may be the rarest trait of all. For many people, talking to themselves isn't really about solving problems, it's about understanding the person solving them. Every difficult experience becomes another question. Every mistake becomes another lesson. Every success becomes another opportunity to ask, why did that work? Instead of moving through life on autopilot, they stay curious about the way their own mind works. That curiosity changes them, little by little, conversation by conversation, because every time they speak honestly to themselves, they become just a little more aware of the habits they want to keep and the ones they want to leave behind. Growth doesn't happen because life gives us all the answers. It happens because we keep asking ourselves better questions, and people who talk to themselves rarely stop asking. None of these 7 traits are really about talking. They're about thinking, organizing it, questioning it, regulating it, rehearsing it, protecting it from every other voice trying to replace it. Talking is just the part you can hear from the outside. So the next time you catch yourself mid-sentence in an empty room, don't flinch. That's not your mind breaking down, that's your mind doing the thing it does best, trying to understand itself out loud. Which one of these 7 hit closest to home? Drop the number in the comments. I want to see which trait is actually the most common one people recognize in themselves. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more videos that help you understand psychology, human behavior, and the hidden patterns behind the way we think and feel.